Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Achua. In this video, I have 10 super affordable fragrances that smell really expensive to me. If anyone asks me what I'm wearing and I tell them I'm wearing designer and niche fragrances, I think all these 10 fragrances could pass for that because there's nothing synthetic, nothing Middle Eastern, nothing screechy and synthetic or heavy, animalic, woody, spicy, annoying about these fragrances. All these 10 fragrances smell super sophisticated, very refined. And the first one here is going to be one that I think I'm going to drum into people's ears, like a lot, because this is a very beautiful scent. If you love Delight, which I have not tried, however, from a very reliable source, I understand it is very identical, and that is going to be Decadent Wonder from Maison Alhambra. This is a very beautiful, refreshing ginger and jasmine scent. When I think about this the more, it gives me vibes of a very high tea vibe. Consider yourself being invited to high tea in a very opulent garden and you're wearing this. It just screams garden with some jasmine and sipping on jasmine and ginger tea. It screams that to me. It's like it comes across as very British in a way, like a British high tea sort of feel. That is the imagery that comes to mind. It also reminds me of a very elegant garden wedding with some jasmine, flowers. It just a very sophisticated, lightweight ginger and then jasmine with a slight hint of vanilla. It is not going to be your heavy vanilla scent. It is going to be there at the bottom somewhere, but what you're going to get for the most part is a very beautiful, refreshing, lightweight ginger and that beautiful non-animalic jasmine. It's just a very clean scent. Somehow it comes across as clean but also slightly spicy. It even gives me something like tea vibes, like the note of tea, although it doesn't have anything like tea in it, but it gives me that sort of high tea in a very rich, well-curated garden vibes, wearing something very floral, that is the vibe this one gives me, and that is Decadent Wonder. There is nothing Middle Eastern about it. It doesn't stink. It doesn't come across as there's no oud, no oud and overly annoying spice or anything. A very beautiful, sophisticated, lightweight ginger and jasmine with a hint of vanilla, and that is what I get in Decadent Wonder from Maison Alhambra. Next on this list of fragrance, I feel it didn't get the hype it was supposed to get. I think this should have been hyped up a lot more, and that is Maharjan Gold from Lattafa. This I smelt way before I came to the likes of the baby cats, the river cat and the lice. To me, they are in the same family, but this one takes like a more demure approach. If you feel those ones are quite heavy for you, you might want to consider this one because it's going to give you that same incense, caramel, sweet, heavy aspect of baby cat or the river cat or fighty. That is my favorite. It's going to give you that without the vanilla. It is not vanilla heavy. There's nothing like a dark, sultry vanilla about this, but it's all about the caramel, very sweet caramel, that very smooth, sophisticated incense and a hint of lavender. It gives me a very sensual feel. Is very sensual, very sophisticated. It is not as heavy as the baby cat, but I feel it's in the same family, the same region, the same the same branch, but it's less. There's nothing vanillic about this. It's more about that incense, and it doesn't come. The incense is not your church incense or those incense you use for rituals. It doesn't come across as that to me. It's more about a wearable perfume incense with a caramel, with a bit of woods, a slight hint of spice, a very beautiful creamy tuberosy sort of feel to it. This is simply beautiful, sophisticated, rich, but not overly intense. It feels like you can wear it year round. If you feel with a cat is like a bit too heavy on the vanilla, the river cat, the Nile Queen, and the likes of that, the fighty are a bit too intense with the vanilla. This is going to be your river cat's fighty without that heavy dark vanilla, and I love this. It smells super sophisticated and it's just simply a very beautiful, rich smelling scent, and that is Maharjan Gold from Lattafa. Next on this list is going to be Frenetic Delicieuse or the original one being Fève Delicieuse. I have not smelled Fève Delicieuse, but however, this to me is, I'm just blown away by this. I don't know why I never got this. I think this has been out for quite a while. I've seen this one making the rounds. Anytime I go to town, I see it, but for whatever reason, it never appealed to me until I got this sample. And this sample of Frenetic Delicieuse, chef case, beautiful. It is very complex. I haven't smelled anything quite like this. Honestly, it doesn't come across as a lot of these fragrances I've smelled before. It's more of a tonka heavy scent. It has a very heavy tonka scent with some cherries and a bit woody and some freshness. It's like complex. It has mint. There's a lot of mint and I think lavender, if I'm not mistaken. But that freshness is like, consider that freshness with the tonka and the praline. It is gourmand without being overly foody and a bit more complex, but not vanilla, but tonka with mint and lavender. It is different. It comes across as a very complex yet very intriguing, intoxicating one to me. I am so pleasantly surprised by how good this fragrance is, and it's super affordable too. I checked the price and it's around the $25 price point, which to me is like a steal. This is gold. Like, this is like gold in a bottle. It smells so opulent and rich yet complex. It's not going to smell like any other thing you have smelled on the market. The normal heavy tonka feel is not. It gives you that thick syrupy tonka feel with something quite rich and ambery. It's just a very complex yet very intoxicating, beautiful, sour. I get that sour or bitter cherry nuance in this, and that mint, that freshness that meets you as soon as you spray this fragrance is just like something fantastic. It is beautiful. To me, do I say it is groundbreaking? Maybe I'm late to it, but I haven't smelled a lot of things that are quite like Frenetic Delicieuse, and I don't have any idea if it is like close to the original one. I have no idea because I haven't smelled it. However, this dupe is not giving me anything less than $150. It's not giving me anything Middle Eastern. It's not giving me anything cheap. It's not giving me anything Alhambra. It is giving me an original creation, an original fragrance, something opulent and grand and gold. This is liquid gold, and that is going to be Fenetic Delicieuse by Emir. I think it is Emir. Yes, the brand is Emir Paris Corner, if I'm not mistaken. Next to this is going to be Awaan from Lattafa. This is incredibly good. Awaan from Lattafa. It's just their normal line, or is it part of the niche mirror? No, I don't think it's, maybe the Pride collection, but Awaan has been around for a while, and this is beautiful. To me, I would simply describe Awaan as a combination of the YSL Libre or Tower Gold with Lentra D, the Lentra D, or the one from Lattafa Fakar Rose. It's like a combination of both fragrances, but it leans towards the YSL Libre vibe to me with those white florals. A very beautiful. It's even comparable. I think if you have YSL Libre, you don't need this one. You don't need, if you have Tower Gold, I would say if you have that, you might not necessarily need this one. Although this one has like a bit more white florals. There's this jasmine white floral aspect about it that I find missing in the Libre or the Tower Gold. So it's a combination of the Tower Gold or Libre, from YSL, and that Lentra D white floral, aspect. A very beautiful scent. The dry down is beautiful. I get that heavy vanilla of the YSL Libre or the Tower Gold in this, but it's like a mesh of both worlds, those two scents, the Lentra D, EDP, and then the Libre, but it's just a very beautiful scent. It's more maybe unisex, but leaning feminine, just like the YSL Libre. It's just a very beautiful composition. I think it is quite underestimated or underrated, underrated because I don't know why I never got to this one. You know, maybe the bottle, I don't like the bottle. The bottle is not the green thing. I don't know. It's not as nice, but that shouldn't deter us from sampling some of these fragrances. I think Awaan is a very beautiful mesh between those Lentra D and YSL Lip, and they did a phenomenal job with this. I'm not sure what exactly they were going for, but they have the Tower Gold and then they have this from the same Lattafa. You know, it's a very beautiful one, you know, very underrated, and that is going to be Awaan from Lattafa. Next on this list is going to be Athena. I had to bring Athena out because I think a lot of us are into Angham. You know, everybody praises Angham. I love Angham. I love Athena. If you have been on this channel, you realize I had my bottle of Athena. I think I'm going to use a picture of that for my thumbnail because I've had that bottle. I've since fully utilized that. It's finished. However, I got this decant from Ya. You know, she sent me a bunch of decants and I asked for Athena because it's not as if I'm missing it or anything, but I just got it for the sake of doing other comparisons because I have Angham, but I thought this is a beautiful addition for me to have a decant just to remind myself of how it smells. And to me, honestly, it smells like the same Burberry Goddess, that same Angham feel, just that it is slightly less intense in the vanilla, you know, but it dries down similarly, you know, the same thing as Angham, you know, that same vanilla lavender feel. I guess this one has a little bit of other florals, you know, to it, which is not in Angham, which has the lavender. Nonetheless, they smell very identical to me. This one is the cheaper, you know, alternative. They are both good. You can go for any of them. However, I still believe Athena is a very beautiful scent, very simple lavender, some florals, and you know the what's not, the same Burberry Goddess, you know, vibe. And why not? You know, why not Athena? It's a very beautiful scent, and I'll highly recommend that. It's very affordable too in comparison to Angham. I don't know why Angham in Ghana is still selling for around 500 cedis. It doesn't make any sense to me. You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's been around for a while. I understand. No, I don't know, but I thought Angham should have been down at least to 350. I don't know. That is just me. Anyway, the next one on this is going to be Ibisco Nirvana from Paris Corner. I love this scent. When I tried Le Prestige Royal from Khadlaj, I fell in love with the decants that I have. But after owning a full-size bottle of Le Prestige Royal, I don't find that oomph, that punch that I found in my decant. So I have since not been reaching out for my Le Prestige Royal. I guess for like, I'm a bit disappointed in the full-size bottle. However, someone asked me to try Ibisco Nirvana from Paris Corner, and I'm so happy about this. This is going to give you the punch that you need, you know, that sort of oomph, that's sort of, you know, in your face out there. This is a very beautiful interpretation of Hibiscus Mahadjan with the dark rose. I get a very dark gothic rose in this one. That is what it gives me. There is this makeup-y sort of feel to it. There is this leather, there's leather, but it's a very smooth, feminine linen leather, almost non-existent, you know, but slightly there, like a sweet like sort of thing, and some not a heavy vanilla. It doesn't give me vanilla, although I think the nose structure has some vanilla, but what you're getting is a very dark, dry red rose with that leather and some black currant. It has that fruit at the top, and it is quite loud and very heavy, and that makeup piece sort of feel to it. It screams to me like a very bold and confident and sexy, you know, woman, you know, like a woman in her 30s. It gives me like a very grown, confident, self-aware woman, you know, very confident, self-aware woman. And that is going to be Hibiscus Havana. And this is selling for around $25–30, you know. Yeah, so for me, it is so worth it. It is so worth it. Next on this list is going to be another Alhambra. They did justice to Decadent Dream, you know, the guidance dupe. They did justice when it came to this, you know, and I think it's a very beautiful one. It's a very photorealistic photocopy of guidance. It gives you the same thing. I think Bayana Ashra did a good job, you know, they did a good job. I would not discredit it just because this one is out, you know. Bayana Ashra is good, but this is like slightly better in my opinion. It's going to give you that same dark rose, some florals, you know, some freshness. There's this freshness or aquatic undertone about this, a dark red rose and the pear and the hazelnut, that nutty sort of feel to it. It is a very beautiful one, a very like copy and paste. It gives me copy and paste guidance, but not as intense. That's richness. That's rich intensity of guidance is still missing in this. Nonetheless, I think it's a better interpretation of guidance in my opinion. And this is selling for around 20 something dollars, if I'm not mistaken. A very beautiful one, you know. You can just spray liberally without thinking twice about it, you know. So you can just, if you have guidance, and you can just get this one as your backup bottle. So yeah, to me it's a very beautiful addition and a very affordable alternative too. And I'm going to go with Latte Divina from Paris Corner. To me, it's a very beautiful. This one gives me something like rice milk. There's something about this that gives me rice milk, you know. I also get that milk toffee and the white chocolate sort of feel to it. Milk in general, you know, but there's something that gives me more of a rice milk, you know, feel about this one. With the other woods and the tuberose, it's a very beautiful lactonic. It's like very lactonic. If you don't love lactonic fragrances, you're not going to like it, you know. It's been compared to Blanche Bette, which I have Blanche Bette, and I also have Her Confessions, but I just love this, you know, alternative. It's a very beautiful, more airy, more fluffy sort of version of Her Confessions and Blanche Bette. And to me, I mean, it's comparable, you know, it's comparable. You don't need both of this and then Her Confessions. You can just pick this one and be done. So for me, I think it's a very beautiful, much more affordable than Her Confessions, you know, but it's going to give you a very similar feel with something which I feel is the rice milk accord I get in this one as well, you know, as any other thing that I still get in Her Confessions. And that is going to be Latte Divina. This next one is going to give you your realistic vanilla ice cream scent. It is like gourmand in your face, but very beautifully done. I don't think it is too heavy and too foody, although it goes into that territory. But Cafe Latte from Khadlaj is a very beautiful spiced coffee with that ice cream vibe with some buttery creaminess to it. It screams gourmand in a very beautiful but also grown way. I think it is very versatile. To me, it is year round. You know, if you feel it's going to be a little too much for you, you might want to use it for your date night sort of feel. It smells cozy, intoxicating, it is delectable, it is sweet, it is quite fun, you know, it is quite fun, but also very sophisticated and polished for even dressed up, you know, occasions. So for me, Cafe Latte is a very beautiful gourmand scent. It's not your heavy in your face coffee, but you're going to get a slightly spiced coffee with that beautiful vanilla ice cream vibe with something quite buttery and a hint of spice. And this is a very beautiful, delectable one. And I think the last one here is going to be, I think that this is the last one, Jazzab Gold from Zaafaran. Do I say more playful? You know, because La Nuit Resort can come across as playful, but this one is like the less serious, less sort of smoky version of La Nuit Resort. A very beautiful, fruity floral scent. It gives you a very fun, you know, fun, girly berries, raspberry, strawberry, vanilla heavy, and some woods. It's just a very beautiful, simple, comparable to La Nuit Resort, but it gives me like a daytime version of La Nuit Resort. It doesn't have that intensity of La Nuit Resort. You know, it doesn't have that, but it's going to remind you about that, you know, that sort of vibe, but it's not as sultry and sexy as that. However, it is like the fun, more versatile, more wearable, everyday, fun variation of La Nuit Resort, and that is going to be Jazzab Gold. It's very beautiful. It's been around for ages. The price point is around 18 somewhere, you know, can get it for around 18 to 25 depending on where you're looking at it from. So Jazzab Gold to me is a very beautiful alternative. It's a more wearable, versatile, everyday, can take you from the office to your date night or hanging out in the evening. Just that it's not as super long lasting. I think that is the only downside about Jazzab Gold. It's not as super long lasting as I find the others which are compared to this, which is the Modex Door and then the La Nuit Pandora. I think La Nuit Pandora is the worst performance. Then it comes to this before modest though. Nonetheless, very beautiful, interpretation or smell alikes of the La Nuit Tresor, and that is going to be Jazzab Gold. So these are 10 amazing, affordable alternatives or affordable yet expensive smelling Middle Eastern fragrances that do not smell Middle Eastern, nothing banyadi, nothing skunky, nothing screechy, nothing synthetic. They are phenomenal. They are great. I mean, I don't think any person is going to regret buying any of these fragrances. They are also very safe blind buys, I would say. And that is going to be it for today. And I hope this video found you well. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. And I hope to see you in my next one. Take care. Bye-bye.